What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to my 6th world record speedrun. And right here, real quick, when I killed the chief here, I shot with the Sandhawk and swapped over to the Amigo Sincero. I did not really want to do that. I kind of consider that an exploit, but the other speedrunners who have done this fight did use that method, so I just kind of had to. Now right here, Voracidous is supposed to Nova immediately after killing the chieftain. He delayed his Nova a little bit, so that cost me a little bit of time there. So that was a little unfortunate. But anyway, I believe Borshot had the previous world record for this fight at 22 minutes. I was able to get a time of about 21 minutes and 6 seconds, which was because I had a better strategy here using the Hide of Terramorphous. Now, typically, it was thought that you wanted to use the Love Thumper for this fight because you have to strip the Hide of Terramorphous, but you can't use the shock immunity with this fight because he can do a corrosive dot, right? So you have to have a roid shield with a corrosive immunity to do this fight. However, what I have discovered here is that you can safely strip your shield with 0 even if you don't have a shock immunity. And this is actually huge. This has massive ramifications for how Melee Zero is played. It's going to make him so much easier to level up. Maybe not massive ramifications, but the thing is, it's going to make him much easier to level up. Because now you can repeatedly farm a Hide of Terramorphous. You can buy punchies from the vendor. You can use those because you don't have to have the shock immunity to strip your shield. As long as you're using a Moxie weapon, and I need to do more testing. I don't know if it would work with the Ruby. I need to do some testing, but at least with the Grog nozzle, you can safely strip your shield with like I think I have an OP7 chain lightning here. So even when you take the dot, you're gonna be okay. You know, you'll survive it. So that is huge. That should really help with the progression of Melee Zero. Like I said, I need to do some more testing, and I'll make sure to confirm. But it seems that is going to be huge for Melee Zero. Now, obviously, Voracidous is absurdly difficult. Literally one of the hardest, if not the hardest boss in all of gaming. The OP10 version, anyway, which has glitched double health. I've played a lot of hard games, guys. I've beat all the Pantheons in Hollow Knight. I've beat the Data Org fights in Kingdom Hearts 2 on critical mode. I've beat, old school Monster Hunter games. I've soloed them like EX Deviants, which did not have single player scaling, and they were multi-monster fights, so they were brutally difficult to solo. Dark Souls games, whatever. I've played a lot of hard games, and nothing has required as much effort to defeat as Voracidous the Invincible. He is truly a monstrosity and atrocity of game design. He was really hard before the double health glitch, but now he's just borderline impossible. He's functionally invincible, at least if we define that by the number of players who can defeat a boss. The percentage of the player base who can legitimately defeat Voracidous is far below 1%. Probably if you round it, it's 0%. I'm sure it's below 0.5%. But anyway, I had actually previously defeated Voracidous with legitimately obtained gear. If you guys have seen that video on my channel, it's the most viewed video on my channel where I beat all the raid bosses legitimately. I beat him with a Love Thumper, and that was really difficult. That was actually harder than getting this world record. You can see a single mistake is all it takes to get down tier, and if you're lucky, the Savage Murderers will be close enough to you that you can get a second wind, but they aren't always. Another thing is that making a mistake in this fight, it can be super hard to recover because you'll often get stuck in a chain where everything just goes wrong over and over again. So it's really difficult. And again, the thing is the fight lasts so long. A world record speedrun is over 20 minutes, so you have to be perfect, near perfect for so long. But I think this is my 6th world record, and some people are probably wanting me to try to see if I can get them all. The problem is I've got so much stuff I need to be doing. I've got to get to streaming, and there's other content I need to make before Borderlands 4 comes out. Plus, I'm also working on another huge project that I really hope you guys will like. I don't know if it'll be something really appreciated by the community, but it's the work I'm the most proud of, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But the thing is, using the Hide of Terramorphous here, it is a lot more difficult than using the Love Thumper. The thing is, this fight is super difficult, super chaotic. You're having to manage so many different things. you're trying to make sure your timing is right, because you got to make sure that his Nova happens shortly after your melee attack. Because if you melee attack him too soon before his Nova, what'll happen is he'll start attacking you. He'll rapidly jump into you or just get up in your grill and just fuck your shit up, right? So you've got to make sure that your timing is on point. So that's one thing you have to constantly manage. You have to constantly manage and make sure that the savage murderers aren't cornering you. Like, you can't get caught between Voracidous and the savage murderers, because that will probably result in you dying. There's just so much. You've got to manage your ammo. You've got to be hill swapping. You have to constantly hill swap because of the Novas. And the thing is, with the Love Thumper, you can use your Chain Lightning solely for survivability, right? So it makes it easier to survive in that sense, because that is your panic button. When something goes wrong, you can just throw a Chain Lightning to keep your health up. Now, obviously, if you're using the Hide of Terramorphous to strip, or excuse me, if you're using the Chain Lightning to strip the Hide of Terramorphous, you're not going to be able to use the Chain Lightning to save yourself from getting downed, right? So it's a high-risk, high-reward method. Borshot's record with the Love Thumper was 22 minutes, and he played virtually flawlessly. It was going to be extremely difficult, borderline impossible, to beat his time using his method, especially because on his first killing blow, Voracidous was slagged, allowing him to deal massive damage. So I knew I needed to come up with a better strategy, and fortunately I was able to use this interaction here with, I actually realized you can safely strip a Roid Shield, even if it does not have a shock immunity, which again is massive and should make Melee Zero much easier to level up, because you've got access to good Roid Shields now. You don't have to get a perfect Hide of Terramorphous anymore. You can use the Punchy. That, again, that should be very, very big. I'll need to do more testing, but another thing here is sometimes your melee attacks just randomly won't trigger backstab or something. Like, I've noticed watching these fights back that sometimes your damage just massively drops off for seemingly no reason. So I'm not sure what is happening there. I've actually cut them all back to back, all the instances of where my melee damage drops off, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason between it. Like, I thought maybe what was happening was maybe I'm too close to Voracidous and I'm not getting the execute bonus, or maybe I hit like his tail and so it doesn't activate the backstab bonus. Maybe the tail is not considered the back. I don't know what it is. There seems to be no rhyme or reason. It just seems to be a layer of RNG. Like, sometimes it just, the damage just randomly drops off. So if someone knows what is causing that, please let me know. But I just could not figure it out, because there are times where I'm super close to him and I do get the full damage. There's times when I'm, further away from him and I don't get the full damage. Again, it just seems to be completely random. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might notice around the corners of the arena, there's a bunch of gear stashed. What I had to do was, because I'm using the Chain Lightning to strip my shield, and he does the Novas so frequently, eventually you can't regen enough grenades to keep stripping your shield. So what I did was, all around the arena, I staged the area by dropping multiple Love Thumpers, multiple Hides, and actually I dropped a bunch of Lethal Ninjas, because once he gets to killing blow range, you can equip the Lethal Ninja, which will give you +6 killing blow, and that should give you more damage than the Legendary Ninja. So I dropped those all around the edge, and I also dropped hard Unkempt Heralds around the edge. Right now I'm using a double penetrating, and the issue with that is that it burns through ammo. So once I get to, I think, about 300 pistol rounds left, I wanted to equip one of the hard Unkempt Heralds, which is the damage accessory. And you might wonder, why not just use a hard one from the beginning? Well, I was just worried that because this fight takes so long, I started to think that you might actually be missing out on meaningful damage if you aren't using the double penetrating, because that's basically 4 million damage versus like 2.3 million damage with the hard, and you shoot him so frequently because you have to constantly hill swap. I was just concerned that over the course of 20 minutes, it would actually add up to meaningful damage. And I don't really know if it was, but again, this fight is so difficult, it's so brutal, and to just beat, it's really hard. To get a world record speedrun was virtually impossible, and I just didn't want to leave anything to chance, right? I had so many great runs that ended up failing because of a single mistake. And that's just something that's really demoralizing about speedrunning. You will have so many great runs that end up failing because you make a mistake or you get some kind of bad RNG. And if you're going to be a speedrunner, you just have to accept that. You have to be mentally prepared for that and just pick yourself back up. On my best run, I didn't make like any mistakes. I was breaking pace really well. It was such a great run. And then I went to do a hill swap and I shot. And what happened was I didn't realize Vora's Nova knocked me slightly off balance, just askew enough so that the rounds from my Unkempt Herald actually threaded the needle through his body. Because what he does is when he does the Nova, he raises his body up and there's a little void between his back legs and his front legs. And every now and then the rounds from the Unkempt Herald will just perfectly slip through there and you won't get your hill swap. And that is how my perfect run failed. This run, I actually make a ton of mistakes. I end up missing a lot of attacks. You can see right there, I just missed one. So I made a ton of mistakes, but just because this strategy was a lot more effective than the Love Thumper strategy, I was still able to get the world record. So honestly, I thought about redoing it and trying to get a better run. But the thing is, I'm under such a time crunch. I've got to do a bunch of stuff before Borderlands 4 comes out. I just can't dedicate doing any more hours to this fight to get a better time. Especially when I already have the world record, it would be kind of pointless. So, maybe down the road I can come back and stream trying to beat my records. We'll see. Again, I've got to prioritize other things. I'm really busy. I've got a lot of stuff to do. I have to go out of town today, so there's just a lot of stuff I have to do. So unfortunately, even though this was a very mistake-ridden run, it was still enough to get the world record because of the better strategy. So I just kind of had to accept it. It's, sometimes I'm a perfectionist, which hurts me because I end up taking too long to do things, such as this fight. But, if you've already got the record, it just doesn't make any sense to invest, dozens of more hours trying to beat it when I could be investing that time into making the content I need to make or going for other speedruns. Again, I think people probably will want me to try to get them all, but at this point, eventually I will. I can't do that right now, Especially, I think the Ancient Dragons is going to be the hardest one to beat because it's such an RNG-based fight. Like, it takes an insane amount of skill to do it, but there's also, there's RNG in all the fights. There's the most amount of RNG in the Dragons fight. Like, if you watch Rain Bubble's 64-second kill, not only did he play almost flawlessly, he got God-tier RNG. Like, the level of RNG he got, you'll be lucky to get that in, 1 in 100 runs. So that could take hundreds of hours to beat. I don't know. I'll probably try again eventually. Now, sometimes you can see I wasn't getting backstabs on Voracidous. That's because there's a lot of times where Voracidous will jump at the last second right before you attack. And you'll kind of get a feel for this. So I was just kind of paranoid that I was going to miss an attack. So sometimes I would attack early because it's better to get the attack at all than it is to, lose the attack window. Because of the way the fight works, you can only attack him once every 13 seconds. So every time you miss an attack, that is 13 extra seconds on your run, right? So a sub 20-minute kill is definitely possible with this method. And again, down the road, I'll try to come back and do that. Another thing is, again, there's so many difficult things to manage about this fight. When you throw in having to strip your shield, that's another layer of chaos. And the dot can actually get you killed because, like, if you get hit by another attack while the dot is applied to you, you won't be protected by health gate because of the dot and you'll just die, right? Not to mention sometimes Voracidous can just randomly kill you through health gate. But you got to manage stripping your shield with this method, again, which invites all kinds of other chaos. Again, if you get hit while you have a dot, you're going to die because you won't be protected by health gate. And then there's also the fact that the chain lightning can snap back to you and kill you. It usually won't happen. So see right here, I pick up a Love Thumper off the ground because I was almost out of grenades. I let them hit me to break my shield, and then I come over here and attack him. You might be wondering, why don't you just let the minions break your shield when you're using the Hide of Terramorphous so that you don't have to strip your shield? Well, every now and then you can do that, or you can let Voracidous break it, but it's not a reliable method. For one, sometimes the minions are too far away for you to get to Voracidous in time. And again, it's just very risky. But that is more of like an opportunistic thing you can look for. You can definitely look for those opportunities to save your grenades in that way, right? Oh, so see right there, every now and then Voracidous will jump at the last second too. So again, man, there's just so many things that can go wrong. It's such a long fight. Such a mentally draining fight to have a really good run and then to die and then just such a horrible fight, man. I mean, again, even at OP8, he was too difficult. And now at OP10 with glitched double health, he's just literally one of the hardest bosses to ever exist. So see right there, I missed another attack. I missed so many. So even watching this back, I'm like, man, you should have tried to get a better run. But anyway, yeah, you can see again all the stuff staged around the edges of the arena, which was, oh yeah, I don't think I mentioned why I did that. The thing is, using this method requires swapping gear a lot, but you don't want to be accessing your inventory because every time you access your inventory, that is going to cost you time, right? So by just staging the area and dropping all that gear around the edges of the arena, I was able to save probably, 15 to 20 seconds of inventory management from the run, right? Because I didn't have to keep accessing my inventory to swap between shields, class mods, and stuff. Now, you might be thinking, okay, if the chain lightning can snap back to you and kill you, why don't you just use a lightning bolt? Because the lightning bolt won't snap back to you, right? Well, that is an option, but the issue with that method is the lightning bolt can't panic heal you as easily. The chain lightning, you can just throw it, and as long as it's in the same zip code as the enemy, it'll chain to the enemy and heal you, right? For the lightning bolt, yes, it's not going to snap back and down you, potentially down you, but you also can't really panic heal with it in the same way. But that is another option. I'm really interested to test this out and see if you could level up a melee 0 using this method, because it would make stripping your shield a lot easier. We'll see down the road. Eventually, I'll try to do that. So we're getting close to killing blow range here. It seems to be like, you see the first V in Invincible, like INV right there. I think killing blow range acts like it activates at the very beginning of the V there. Which is weird. Can someone let me know why killing blow, like on a lot of these bosses, killing blow does not seem to activate at 30% of the health bar. When you get to the V, that is far below 30% of the health bar, or it seems to be. Killing blow was supposed to activate at, 30% or lower health, so I don't really know if that's, I don't really know what's going on there. But again, the main thing with this fight is maintaining the timing of your executes, so that again, you can see I executed, and then shortly after there, he did his novas. You gotta have your timing right, because again, if you don't, he is going to jump into you and down you. So see, my timing was a little bit off there, but I had to do an extra hill swap to stay alive, right? It's just very hard to maintain it the full fight. And then see right here, I'm in a bad position because he was close to me. You want to maintain more distance. Again, man, I made so many mistakes. I really should have redone this. Whatever, it's still the world record. But what you can try to do, you need to try to keep a lot of distance between the two of you, right? So when he does his novas, you can try to use them to knock you flying away to keep distance between the two of you. And I know that, like with some of these attacks, like I said, I wasn't able to get the backstab, so that explains why the damage was lower on those. But sometimes you do get the backstab and the execute, and the damage just randomly drops off. So again, I don't understand what it is. If somebody does, please let me know. But even after attempting this for hours, I just could not figure it out. So who knows, man. You can see we're getting very close to killing blow range here. And again, it's just very dangerous to... So see, again, he jumped into me, so I kept having to do extra hill swaps. And again, you gotta do that for 20 minutes, guys. And if you miss once, it's basically game over. Now, when I defeated him with my legitimately obtained gear, for those of you guys who saw that fight, I didn't have a fire nor fleet. And that was one of the things that made it take so much longer. I only had a fire Topnia. And obviously the Topnia deals damage a lot more slowly than the fire nor fleet. So it was a lot harder to get second wins, right? So with the Fire Nor Fleet, it was easier for me to get up And that was the main thing that allowed me to do this fight more easily. Yeah, it actually took, so I see out there, I just equipped the Lethal Ninja. That was another mistake. I equipped it a little too early. That was another thing that made this fight a little bit easier, because I had already beat him with legitimate gear, and that run took like 40 minutes. It was actually harder. Like, getting this world record with this method was easier than beating him with my legitimately obtained gear when I didn't have the Fire and Norfleet and stuff. So that fight helped me. Doing that definitely helped me with this. And you can see now, I think, is when Killing Blow is going to activate. And with the extra damage, oh yeah, look at that. So that's with the Hide of Terramorphous. So that was really, really nice. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'm going to be trying to get back to my regular content soon. Super difficult fight, man. Check out Borshot, guys. He's one of the best Zero players ever. Oh, by the way, that one idiot who told me that I faked this fight, he probably feels pretty damn stupid now. I'm really glad I got this because, oh, here it is, here it is. Boom, beautiful. 21 minutes, 6 seconds, and 3 frames. But yeah, if you guys remember from that original video, I forgot to record the first 5 minutes of that footage because it just took so long. I forgot once. So I'm glad now that I have a full recorded run. So really happy with this. Again, I did make a lot of mistakes. Maybe down the road I'll come back and try to beat it. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Extra special thanks to my members, and a super extra special thanks to my Voracidous Slayers, Evan, Cass, Drake Solidor, Jonas Hedberg, and Legan Weirdna. Really appreciate the support, guys. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing and commenting. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe. Be here next time.